Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Focus on Gaming podcast, episode 105. I'm Martin.
And I'm Duncan. Hello.
Hello. Just the
So,
two of us tonight.
yep, Tom's turn to be dead this week.
Yeah, me and Tom do like to alternate our deaths, don't we? Ordinarily. Sometimes we manage to get on at the same time, but
Most of the time, it's children's fault, isn't it?
you and one other.
The perils of being a parent.
Yeah.
But my youngest
It
is
is.
older than your two youngest, so mostly I'm all good. So anyway,
Yeah.
we play much.
Well, I've got my controller now. So
You have
obviously
excellent.
last couple of weeks I haven't. So got my controller. I can't remember what day, but I got it beginning of last week. So I've been catching up. I was going to say I've been catching up with some Game Pass games, but I actually haven't played any of the new Game Pass games. I played Rare Replay.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
yeah, I actually own that. I think, although it is on Game Pass. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I went on to that. And from Rare Replay, I played Conker's Bad Fur Day. And not a game I actually played originally on the Nintendo 64. Probably a bit young to play that sort of game when it was out.
Yeah, it's not one you want to play in front of the kids.
No, it looks all like fluffy with a scroll and stuff, but then when actually you start playing it, he's swearing and telling things.
Yeah, I never knew that it was basically an adult game until probably the last 10 years, where I saw a video and they were like, oh, well, what is it, the Great Pooh or something? That is one of the bosses. One of the bosses, I think, is just basically a big pile of poo. I'll just say it that way. And then they said, and then he's effing and jeffing, and yeah. I'm like,
there's a lot of swearing in it. I mean, the game starts where you're the main character, Conker, is in the pub and he gets really drunk and he can't work his way home, and he wakes up in this like place. And then I gather I'm just trying to get home, but then lots of stuff is happening while you're trying to get home. But yeah, it's definitely surprising that Nintendo allowed, because I know it was done by Rare, but obviously they did Donkey Kong, didn't they? Diddy Kong Racing, so they had quite a close partnership with Nintendo. And then Conker was on Diddy Kong Racing, wasn't he, as well? So
I'm sure that I saw a video somewhere that it was changed to an adult game. I don't think it was always meant to be, and then I think they just decided to go, hell, why not, kind of thing. There was probably particular reasons for it, but
I haven't.
Yeah,
the game's been. There's some good and bad things. The good thing that is quite a good game. Quite, like I said, I probably was on it about 2 hours, but I went on it quite late, thinking, I'll go on it for about half an hour, and I stayed on there because there was quite a lot to do. I was quite enjoying what I had to do, but what I didn't like was the controls. I found it really
old school.
Yeah, and the inverted. So every time I wanted to look up, I was going up, but then he was looking down, and then
I see. I'm an inverted player, so I would have liked that.
Yeah, and it is quite difficult as well. Not that's a bad thing, but there is. I think the controls make it more difficult because there are some bits where you need to be quite quick, and because
what the respawn points like? Is it if you die? Is it you've got to do another 10 minutes of gameplay to get back where you were?
You just go. The respawns have been okay actually. They do put you pretty much where you were. But yeah, there's one bit where, and I won't go too much on about the game, but there was one bit where it was like a boss, and it's this big hay bale thing that comes to life, and it's really big, and you're on this pitchfork thing like a pogo stick, and you stab it, and you fall through the floor, and then when you get to the floor, it ends up being this robot, and the actual boss fight isn't that difficult, but then after the boss fight, you're in this, I don't know, like sewer, I guess, or something, and it starts to rise, so the water starts to rise, but there's also electrical cables, but you've got to throw knives at the electrical cables so you don't get electrocuted. And that took me ages to do because the knife thrown on it is really difficult because there's no like aim, so you've got to sort of estimate where he's throwing it, and it's all inverted. So I kept it, and you got about a minute, and you got to get like 5 of these things, and some of them are really across the map, and you got to get it like perfectly right. That's probably why I was on it for so long. I probably went on the game for about 2 hours, and I probably was about an hour on that one bit, and then I finished that, and I was like, "That's okay. I'm going to bed now." But so yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day. And I've also played Banjo-Kazooie as well, which I did have when I was younger, but I can't really remember it. So it is feeling like a new game. And I'm probably enjoying that more than Conker's Bad Fur Day because the control is a lot easier, or easier to handle than. And yeah, they're quite similar in terms of.
I've never got very far in Banjo-Kazooie. I really wanted to. And the only reason is because of the sound. You cannot stop that annoying. I don't know. It's the bird. I presume that's Kazooie, but it's just constant. And like, shut up! What it just bore into my brain every time it made the noise. And you'd go about 10 feet and suddenly, and I'm like, oh, shut up. And you can either turn off sound effects and have nothing or have it on. There's no sort of, turn off the voice or anything like that. There's no separate voice setting. So maybe I just, after about an hour of playing it, I can't do this anymore.
I've played it for about 3 or 4 hours, I reckon, on and off. I've played it a couple of times, but
I'm ever so sorry if I've now ruined it for you.
Yeah, no, I haven't noticed that at this point. I mean, when they have the dialogue, so you talk to the mole quite a lot, and he tells you what to do.
Yeah. Now imagine that in your brain and try and remember the sound, and it just goes.
The actual game, when I'm actually playing it, I don't remember hearing him talk.
It was, yeah. I mean, the cutscenes were where it was most prevalent, but I'm sure there was something else that they were doing it in. But anyway, it just, I hated it.
One thing about Conker, which it's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that the cutscenes are pretty funny. Like, it is a funny game to play.
Yeah.
But they're long, and once you've watched them, you don't have to watch them again. You can skip them. Oh. You have to watch them the first time, and I was on it quite late. So if it was on the day, I probably wouldn't have minded watching it. But I was playing it quite late, and I was like, okay, I
want to go to bed, but I want to play.
No, I was having and near the start there was more cutscenes, and they were like about a minute or a couple minutes each time, and I was like, oh, another one, and you're just there sort of waiting for it to finish, and then just so
it's not as if it's the greatest story ever told, is it? it's just about a squirrel that's fighting various disgusting creatures. So yeah. So I've looked it up. It is the Great Mighty Pooh. And guess what he throws at you? Yeah, that's right, feces. Yeah. And the only way to defeat him is to throw toilet roll into his mouth. Yeah. And he sings. So he sings opera while throwing poo at you. And yeah. And he lives in Pooh Mountain. So it's not exactly subtle.
I get there.
So you haven't tried any of the really old games like Jetpack and anything like that? No. See, Jetpack was one of my. I probably played hundreds of hours of that when I was young. You'd load it up and try and get to, it's basically the same level over and over and over and over and over again. But with slightly different looking ships or slightly different aliens that had slightly different behaviors.
Yeah, I've gone back to the ones that were there when I was my childhood. So I've gone for Banjo and Conker.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect. GoldenEye isn't on it, but
No. Well, you can get that on Xbox though. It's
You
on
can
Game
get it,
Pass.
yeah. And I have played it on Game Pass, so it is available.
You can if you want. You can buy a model from First for Figures on eBay of the Great Mighty Pooh for £532. Just thought you'd want to know that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
If
you too can have a giant opera singing Pooh on your desk for £500. Oh dear. I suppose it would be a talking point, wouldn't it? You wouldn't want it on your dining table, though, would you? So, is that mostly what you've been playing then with your nice shiny new controller?
It is, yeah. I played just to check the controller worked. All right, I did play Crash Bandicoot as well. I always find that's a good game to test the controller out because you got to.
Yeah.
But yeah, only that was only. I did the boulder level where you're running away from the boulder.
Well, I was reading an interview the other day. And there was a guy who developed the original one, and because there wasn't analog buttons on the original PlayStation, they did some like trick to make it feel like it was an analog jump. So you tapped it to jump a little bit and held it down. And apparently, this guy who helped develop it said that the remasters of 1 to 3 were completely messed up. He said that they weren't done like they were. And I remember when I reviewed it on this podcast, I said, I don't remember it being this hard. And the guy said it's hard because they've messed up the jumping. And the jumping isn't the same as in the original. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I did it all right. I don't get all the boxes and stuff, but I'm able to do it in one go, like pretty much every time I do it.
Number 4's on Game Pass now as well, and that's pretty good.
But it's not on the cloud though.
Is it not? Oh, okay. That's a shame.
I usually play stuff on the cloud, so I haven't been, unfortunately.
You've got an S as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, what's that? 512 gigabyte, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
what have you been playing?
Obviously, this week, this is the. I think it came out about 3 or 4 days ago. Assassin's Creed Mirage came to Game Pass, and I was really excited for this. Really excited. And it's Assassin's Creed, and I'm playing it. And Assassin's Creed Mirage, it was meant to be sort of a going back to the roots of Assassin's Creed. A smaller world, although still pretty big, a lot smaller than Valhalla and Odyssey. And it was meant to have a bit more of the sort of you can't climb up everything like on the original 2 or 3 Assassin's Creeds. Now, I've probably put in good 10 hours so far. The main thing that I hate is I don't know if you played Odyssey and Valhalla. Yeah.
Valhalla. I don't think I played Odyssey.
So you know how there's an optional way of finding where a mission is they will say you've got to find clues. So you have to ask people or look for a certain landmark or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either do that or you can disable that and they'll just tell you where it is. Yeah?
Yeah.
There's not that option in Mirage. So what it is, you'll turn off the the thing that says, do you want to ask for clues and all this kind of thing? And all it does is it tells you where the marker will be. But then when you get within about half a mile of it, it just says locate area. And you're like, but I've turned that off. I don't want to locate the area. I want to be told where the area is. And this isn't like when you're going up to a big prison or a castle or something like that. This will be just a door in an alleyway. It'll be locate area. No, I don't want to bloody locate the area. I want to tell me where the bloody door is. And you have to use the bird. like that you have that will scan enemies and things like that. And the bird is useful for when you are stealthily going into a place and you're not allowed there, so you've got to find out where the enemies are. You can look where crates are and stuff like that, and it's very useful. But when I'm running along and it tells me where something is, and then when I get within, let's say, 30 seconds of where the destination is, it just disappears and it says locate area. And I'm like, what? So I've either got to go in the map and have a look at where it is and just try and work out how to get close to it, and then maybe use eagle vision to like the sort of one that can see things through walls, enemies and stuff, and either use that to sort of get a hint, or I've got to use the bird. So either way, I've just got to stop playing the game to find where a door is or to find where a particular person is. All I want is a nice big thing over a door saying, this is where you want to go. That's all I want. I want a story and I want stealthy bits. And that's it. And I can't have it. And it's peeing me off. It's really annoying me because every time I do it, I'm like, hang on, I was running towards the marker. Where's the marker? Oh, yeah, I've got to stop and fly a bird around and then aim at it. And it doesn't aim it, find it quickly with the bird as well. You have to aim and it goes bing, 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 and then there it is. And I'm like, oh, I'm one street away from it. Couldn't you have just told me where that bloody door was? Oh, it's just pee me off. So yeah, it feels like, and also one thing I was looking forward to that I loved in the first Assassin's Creed was they said that the viewpoints that you have to get that reveals some of the map would be going back to how it used to be, where they were more of a puzzle. You had to find, it was like a maze of climbing up. You could only climb up certain places. And yes, you can't just climb straight up like you could in Odyssey and Valhalla and that. You do have to find the route, but it's not particularly rocket science. There isn't a maze as such. It's just, look, I can see it's over there that, on a big tower. Oh, I can see I've got to go to the right here because there's a handhold there. Oh, that's exciting. And so it looks like what they've done is they've tried to hark back to the original couple of games, but they've taken all the worst bits of that, or the best bits of that, and made them worse, and all the worst bits of the modern games and kept them. And it's taken it from most Assassin's Creed games for me are 8s or 9s out of 10s. I like the open world, I like the traversal, I like the stealth, running around and assassinating 20 people in 5 minutes. I love all that. But this annoyances are taking it down to probably my lowest rated Assassin's Creed since the 2D ones, I think. So I'm really torn because I was really excited for this game, and it's just turned out to be not great.
And it's not really gameplay. Partly, but mainly it is to do with the.
Well, no, it is gameplay, and also when you get a viewpoint on the map, they are white when you haven't gone up them, yeah. And when you've gone up them and unlocked the fast travel to that viewpoint, they go yellow. So I was running around. I got a viewpoint near the beginning of the game, and I was running around, and there was things on my map that were yellow, and I was ignoring all them, and then going to the things that were white. Which the things that were white. Oh, I'll get some feedback there. The things that were white were things that weren't complete. But then after about 3 or 4 hours, I'm like, why are there completed things still on the map? So I look at all these yellow things. I'm like, I haven't got any of that collectible. Why is that yellow? So I go to it. It's not completed at all. So they've got completed things that are yellow, completed things that are that just disappear, and incomplete things that are yellow on the map. So you couldn't possibly have used 3 colours or 4 colours. White for viewpoints, yellow for completed viewpoints, and then 2 different colours for collectibles or something, like incomplete and completed or something. But no, they have to make an incomplete thing the same colour as a complete thing to really confuse matters. And there was another time I was in a prison and I had to find my way around, and you had to go down to a basement. And I went to this place that I thought was the basement, and I thought, no, that can't be it, because it had the symbol for a secret entrance. When you have like a big prison, or I was in a prison at that point, or a big castle, it will have a cave icon with some stairs as a secret entrance that you could discover. So I just thought, oh, that's the exit out. No, I then ran around half an hour trying to find this basement. I could see the person through the floor with eagle vision. No, it was that secret entrance. It wasn't the secret entrance into the building. It was just the secret entrance into the basement. Now, that may be me being a bit stupid. I don't know. But it was completely the opposite way, because you had to go right down in the stairs and then turn right round to go back towards where the person was. And yeah, it's almost like they haven't played the game, or they're pandering for all the people who moan about certain things. They've just gone, okay, that's what everyone wants. No, not some people liked the game that you produced before, or the options that you had before. Why get rid of that option? I don't get it. But yeah, so that's my rant over. You might love it. I don't know.
I did feel like you needed to have that rant. I hope you got it off the chest. Anyway,
yes, I can breathe now. that was my weekly therapy. That was.
I'll just let you talk. I was like, I'm just going to let him talk.
I think I said last. Did they do last week? My wife and my son, 7-year-old son, completed Split Fiction, which I was very proud of them, actually, because when I played it with my 7-year-old, obviously I was the one going, no, you got to do this, and telling him what to do. So the fact that they've gone through it and he's basically walked my wife through it is quite impressive. So now they're doing It Takes Two, which, again, me and my 7-year-old had done. Me and my wife had done half of it, but she'd just gone, no, this is a bit too hard for me. But no, she's stuck with him. And, they're near the end of It Takes Two. Well, they're probably an hour's gameplay away from the end. Although, with the amount they die, probably about 4 hours. Other than that, Hexen and Hexit. No, not Hexen and what's the other game? But the id Software games have come out on Game Pass. I've played them a bit. If you like a bit of Doom, but with magic, it's pretty good. It's got all the mods and cheats on it that you can just use, and cheats as well don't stop the achievements, so you can just cheat your way to the achievements. So yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed it. I played through Hexic this morning. Not Hexic, that's the one with the hexagons, isn't it? Hexen. And yeah, pretty good. Some hard bits. I had it on the easy level, obviously. But yeah, it was all good. Oh gosh, bloody hot here. I don't know about what it's like in your neck of the woods, but it's just really sweaty again here. It's horrible.
Yeah, pretty warm again.
So
I think we've got another heat wave coming in next week. So
fun. That'll be good when I'm doing my job. Anyway, so in news, I think we said last week about the price, didn't we, of the ROG Ally Xbox? But this week the leaks have come through that say that the release date that's going to be announced at Gamescom 2025 is October 16th. So if I do buy one, sounds like I've got 2 months to save up, unless pre-orders sell out, in which case I'll just not bother. So yeah, so save up your $900 or €900 or £800 £8 or whatever it's going to end up being. October the 16th. Yeah, I'm still debating whether to do it or not. It is very tempting because
I would like one, but I don't think I'll get one on
Yeah,
release. I don't think I'm going to be able to save that amount for it to be able to
no, I'm not
release
either.
that. I maybe in the new year or something after Christmas, or I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But
So anyway, main chat today. We are going to chat and discuss what we think is the greatest developers of all time. Now, I think if anyone's listened to at least probably 5 of our episodes, it's probably going to guess who's going to come up. But I think we could discuss some some surprises as well. But if you were to say one that was your top 3, would you have a top 3, or is there just one that stands out for you?
I could probably do a top 3. I think like obvious for me would be Nintendo.
Yeah, I think they'd be your number one, wouldn't they? Because you've had N64, you've had Wii U,
all the Nintendo consoles pretty much.
Okay. You had the Wii as well, yeah.
Had the Wii, yeah. They like Mario, get the Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, and then obviously with the Nintendo, obviously I'm massive Zelda fan. They're all Nintendo games, apart from the ones that came out on the 3DO, which I've never played. So
yeah, I don't think you want to. The CDI Zelda is just well known for being the worst. So,
like, I do like Bethesda games as well. Like so Fallout. Like
so Bethesda are up there. What about for you as well? You're a From Software fan as well.
So they would be the ones who do Doom, are they?
No, From Software are Dark Souls and not Elden Ring.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. I do, yeah. I like the From Software games, but I wouldn't have them in my top 3.
No, okay.
I quite well. We were talking about earlier. I mean, Rare. I like some of their games.
Yes.
I know they're not so prominent anymore. I know they still do games, but that sort of.
But to last this long, basically, yes.
For my childhood, yes, I don't really play many of their games now, but that, I had the Nintendo 64, and other than sort of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Mario 64, all my other favorite games were Rare games. So GoldenEye, Donkey Kong 64, Diddy Kong Racing.
They did RC Pro-Am. They did the 1989 WWF WrestleMania games. Marble Madness.
Perfect Dark. They did that. And they were British as well, weren't they? Not that should make
They were, yes.
They were based in the United Kingdom, so a little bit of a bias towards them. And Rockstar as well. Obviously, the Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption.
See, I mean, you've got so many different things that we could base best developer on. You could have consistency, like someone like Rare, with what they've produced over the years. Some fantastic games, and I think it looks like they've been going since their first game came out in 1986. So they've been going for 39 years, and they've produced a lot of games. I mean, you've got Battletoads. Hang on, So Battletoads, the on Game Boy and NES, and all that. In the early 90s. Even before that, I said RC Pro-Am, various versions of that, various WWF games in the late 80s, early 90s. Killer Instinct,
I mean, all the Donkey Kong
Country games, Donkey Kong Land, Banjo Kazooie, and all the follow-ups. Perfect Dark, Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube. So then when the 360 came along, they did Viva Pinata and Cameo. They also did Kinect Sports, which, was trying to get the Wii Sports vibe, but didn't quite work. And then recently, they had a bit of a quiet time, mostly because of Kinect. But then they came back with Sea of Thieves, which 7 years later is still being updated and has now just come to PlayStation 5 in the last year. So
longevity, they're doing all right, aren't they?
Yeah, so that's been one of the successes of one of these live service games. It's great with it. So yes, I mean that makes them good. But then if you look at something like Rockstar, they've produced the biggest games of all time. Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto, etc. But there have been problems with their various politics within the studio. There's been problems, and I've personally found, and I think it's reasonably well known, that their customer service isn't that great, and all this kind of thing. One that we talked about offline was Ubisoft. Now, Ubisoft, and we're talking about Assassin's Creed. I love the Assassin's Creed open world. I love the Far Cry open world games. I loved Outlaws last year. I loved. I can't think of him now. But yeah, loads of Ubisoft, the open world specialists they are. But again, they are politically sort of they're not very. Their PR isn't very good. Let's just say that. So the greatest developers, that sort of hits them in the balls, really, I think. But Rare have that, where they're just, although they're owned by Microsoft now, that they have just been in the background making great games. Personally, for me, Nintendo, yes, they would be probably for most, or lots of gamers, number one. I've always wondered though, Nintendo, I presume that things like Zelda is made by one team, and then Mario is made by another team. Is it, or is there like a big central in Japan, like a Nintendo development building where they make all the games?
You'd think that they would be different. So, like a team that makes the Super Mario games, a team that makes Zelda, Metroid games, or whatever, and
because like Rockstar, they have Rockstar North and Rockstar Toronto and things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna guess that they have different teams, but they just all come under Nintendo. So yeah, I wouldn't actually. I'm just going to have a quick little search, but so tell me what makes Nintendo great.
Oh, see, I was gonna go on to different publisher developer.
Oh, okay, no, you go on to a different publisher. If you've got another one,
Naughty Dog.
Oh yes,
they started because they've had, like, for me.
Well, we technically talked about them already because we
associate them with like Crash Bandicoot,
and
then they sort of reinvented themselves when they like started bringing out Uncharted and The Last of Us and these sort of games that are
like story-based action adventures kind of thing.
Yeah, and they've had longevity as well, because you think, I'm just on their Wikipedia, their first game was out in 1986 as well, so that was for the Apple II, but it was Math Jam, so I don't know if it was going to be it's an education game, so I don't know how much credence you can give on that game being a proper sort of game. But I mean, the Crash Bandicoot games, I still to this day play the Crash Bandicoot games. So one of my favorite platformer game. They did the Jack and Daxter games as well, which I used to play as well when I was younger. And then like I said, the more recently, like The Last of Us and Uncharted, so they've sort of shown different that they can do things differently. They can do your sort of cheesy platformer, but then they can also do your serious storytelling game. And for a lot of people, The Last of Us, even the Uncharted series, are always really highly rated. But for some people, The Last of Us is one of the greatest games ever made, isn't it?
I mean,
story. So
obviously I haven't owned a PlayStation, but I do own The Last of Us 2 on PC. I own Spider-Man on PC. I own God of War 2016. I know that wasn't them, but I know I'll just go through the PlayStation one zone. But Spider-Man: The Last of Us 2, absolutely fantastic. Actually, I own the Uncharted trilogy as well. The one that's got Uncharted. No, it's not trilogy. It's a twin pack. It's got Uncharted 4 and the one with the two women, thieves. It's quite forgettable, that one was. So hence why I can't remember the name of it. But it's the Thieves collection or something. Uncharted Thieves.
Thieves End. Thieves End.
Legacy of Thieves collection. But I own that on PC as well. Fantastic. And tell you what, one thing I like is the fact that they work so well on Steam Deck, all of them. Even something that looks as good as Last of Us 2. Works really well on Steam Deck. But I think they do similar to what Split Fiction has done with their game. Is that they're very cinematic. It's got very good direction. It's got very good story, and yes, it helps that they look pretty, but they're made with the same care and the same direction as a movie. The director of like The Last of Us 2 could possibly, with the camera angles and the sound editing and all this kind of thing, they could help with a movie or direct a movie themselves and go, I want this angle and this story, and get their writer to write something. They're basically movies that you can play, but not in the super massive games kind of sense. They are more action. And like you said, they've reinvented themselves as well, because to go from Crash Bandicoot and then now having the Spider-Man 2 and all that kind of thing is quite astonishing again, that they've been going for so long, from the 90s back all the way to nowadays. Let's see when their first game was, because I very much doubt it was anything.
It was Math Jam. I'm on their Wikipedia.
Oh yes, so they'll be 40 next year as well.
But it's an education game, that one, so I don't know how.
It was on the Apple II as well. I want to say I've heard of Rings of Power that was on the Mega Drive.
I like the sound of Keith the Thief.
Keith the Thief.
1989 on the Amiga, Apple II GS and TOS.
Yeah, it was. But they go. Oh blimey! The only review that is on the Wikipedia, Keith the Thief gave it an X for not recommended.
1 to 5 stars. 1 out of 5 stars it got on that review. So maybe they didn't start off the best. By the way.
No, I can't really see any.
They released it on the 3DO. Tom might know that because he likes Way of the Warrior.
So, are you somebody who has played like all the Last of Us and the Spider-Man games and all that kind of thing?
It's probably The Last of Us and Spider-Man. Spider-Man weren't Naughty Dog though, was it? That's Insomniac, isn't it? Insomniac.
Oh, of course, yes, it was, wasn't it? Let's make no, yeah. So they were Uncharted and Last of Us.
They're just Uncharted and Last of Us. Yeah, so
Yeah, it was Insomnia. I'm getting all mixed up there.
they're all like PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, they're all PlayStation. Yeah,
So,
published. Yeah, so there's me getting all confused. But yeah, okay then. Do you play? Have you played all the Last of Us and Uncharted games?
I haven't played The Last of Us 2 because I haven't really had a PlayStation. I have had a PS5, but I didn't have it that long. Some of the I haven't played all the Uncharted games, but I have played Uncharted games, and I really like the Uncharted games. So I've liked pretty much every Naughty Dog game I've played. I have liked, and I like The Last of Us. I played it on the PlayStation 3.
So I'm gonna guess though that it's not gonna knock Nintendo off the top for you.
No, I think Nintendo just has the number and
the consistency, really.
The consistency and just games that you can like. I can go back and play Crash Bandicoot, and that's 20-year-old. Well, actually, almost probably a 30-year-old game now, isn't it? Crash Bandicoot, and I can still really enjoy it. But you can play Nintendo games which were out over 40 years ago, and
yeah, I mean the original Super Mario is still easily, would holds up against any game from now like today, especially platformers. I mean, platformers literally in the last year. Okay, yes, you've got some great ones, but mostly they're Metroidvanias, or they try and be super hard to try and be that little bit of challenge. They have to have a hook. It's like no, just be a really, really good platformer.
And what I like about Nintendo that they sort of push on games. So you went from Mario Bros to then Super Mario 64, and then you get the Marios that you get today. Like I can't remember what the last one was called now. Odyssey.
Well,
and they did it with the Zelda games. They reinvented the Zelda games. They went from the 2D to the 3D, and then they've now gone to like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom with the open world.
Open world ones, yeah.
And there's no sort of sometimes like other developers they might try and change it, and there'll be some teething problems, but they always just get it spot on.
Yeah, I mean they're a bit like Rockstar in the shape that they have enough of a fan base and they have enough money that they could go, we're going to release this game but we're going to make sure every last little bit is perfect.
Yeah, they don't have to rush it, do they?
I mean, obviously, something like Grand Theft Auto 6, there's a lot of teeny tiny little things that that need to be added to the world as well as the gameplay and all this. Whereas with Nintendo's games, yes, okay, there are lots of extra little bits, but they're making sure they're getting things pixel perfectly correct, and they will, it will be like run over thousands of times each tiny little bit. How high he jumps, how speeds, how it reacts with this, the control, how the controls do it, and they will. And they will not release something that has. I mean, can you think of a Nintendo game that's ever released that has an inherent problem that needs patching, like a massive thing? I mean, I can't think of any.
I can't think of
any game. No,
off the top of my head.
Whereas most developers have had that game where in the last 15 years that they've been able to patch, but before then probably had something and there was like a bug or something like that. And this is what when people say, oh, games are released and they're not finished nowadays. Well, yeah, because people can release them and patch them. So, and they generally do. Some do, some don't. But there were games released back in the day that had bugs. But Nintendo never did that. They always release very, very good games. I'm sure there'll be somebody out there going, "Oh, but did you know there's this bug and this bug and this game and this bug and this game?" But generally, Nintendo and Rockstar are the ones who will go, "No, we're not releasing that because it's not ready," and they are probably the main two that will do that. Everybody else will just be they're beholden to investors, and investors want money, so they put it out, and people buy it and they make money.
Your favourite game of all time? Because we did our favourite game of all time. Yours was Final Fantasy VII.
It was, yes. Now, Square Enix, if you want to call them, that's a difficult one because, yes, the Final Fantasy as a series, I mean, we're up to number 16 now, and also probably 50 different spin-offs and all this kind of thing. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 are held as some of the greatest RPGs of all time. But then they changed after number 12. Number 11 was online. So number 12, that was the first one that was like the action style, where yes, you could pause the game, but mostly it was hitting a button. And since then, I haven't bought a single one. I think I tell you, I did buy 15, but I bought that when I got like the Royal Edition for about £7 or something on PC. So I didn't buy it full price or anything. So Square Enix make what I see is the best game of all time, but as developer, they've
what other games have they
messed
done?
up.
Is it
Obviously,
Kingdom Hearts? What that was them, wasn't it?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. They've in the last 20 years as well. They published a lot of games. They were with. They saved. What was it that they? Is it Sports Interactive that they've linked up with as well recently to do Football Manager? Is it them? Because they were with Sega, but I think they had a falling out with Sega. I'm just having a look. I'm just looking. Publishing. No, that's games. Video games. List of Square Enix video games. Yeah, I'm pretty sure recently that they were Football Manager. No, apparently not. Unless that's just in a list of published ones. Anyway, but yeah, so Final Fantasy VII Remake, not a fan of. I have tried it. I've had it on my Steam Deck, and no, don't like it.
So for you, they've made the best game in Final Fantasy VII, but as a developer, they haven't made.
Yeah, and that's a me thing. Like I do like to say that for a lot of things, but yeah, you've got your Dragon Quest games, you've got Star Ocean games, you've got Octopath Traveler, which is a very good game, Chrono Cross, Bravely Default, all these games. Square Enix did. Dragon Quest, yeah, I've already said that, haven't I? Just keep going back. Yep, the Kingdom Hearts. It's just they produce so many games. it's quite scary, actually.
What's your favourite developer then? Because I don't know if you said.
Yeah, we haven't actually. Yeah, I was going to say I haven't actually said. Now,
what's your top three?
I'm going to go with it's not a particularly wild choice, but probably one that you wouldn't have guessed. I'm going to go for Valve. Because Valve have not produced that many games. They've had a couple of misses, but generally their games are in they're in the top. They say top 50. The few games that they have developed are generally in the sort of top 50 or the top 20, or even in case of like Portal, top 10 of lots of people's games of all time. And they're another one actually. They are. I suppose we could add them to Nintendo and Rockstar, in that they will make sure every last little thing is correct before releasing, and they won't release if it isn't right or if it doesn't play well. And so from Portal 2 to Half-Life,
Yeah, I was going to say Half-Life 2 is one of my
and then the way that they've absorbed. I mean, things like Portal started off as a mod for Half-Life, and rather than going, rather than either stopping them from making mods or anything, they encouraged those, and they eventually brought the people who made the mod in to make the first Portal game, and they actually employed them. And then Portal 2 was made, and it's generally classed as one of the best games of all time. It's also, who in their right mind would expect a game about two robots going around a test world would become a really good story and hilarious story, a touching story, like a really engaging story, as well as having a fantastic gameplay. And it's brilliant. Half-Life. I mean, I don't know if you've played Half-Life 2, but when it came out,
that's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I mean, when it came out, those graphics were amazing, and they're still now. They're still doing ray traced versions of it, which look absolutely jaw dropping. And this game's really old.
Yeah, I had it on the Xbox. That's the
So I mean, if you imagine now that they're putting it on like GeForce 5090s and putting ray tracing on it. And it's looking absolutely fantastic. I'm just wondering, it's like 2007, I want to say.
older than that.
No, 2004. 2004.
It was on the original Xbox, so like.
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, just absolutely outstanding. And as a developer, they make sure everything's perfect. They rarely, I mean, they haven't developed that many games. But they've only had a couple of misses, and yes, okay, everybody jokes they can't count to three. So, but yeah, and then you got the games they've published as well. Things like Gary's Mod, which bore things like Prop Hunt and other such great modes that you get in some games nowadays, which are absolutely fantastic. So not many games, as I said, and there's some that have been not great. What's the card game that they Artifact, which I think it's Artifact, or one of their card games was not very well received or had problems. Probably is still going though. I wouldn't be surprised. Is it still going? Yes, yeah, still going. Whether people are actually playing it or not, I don't know. But Counter-Strike, Left 4 Dead 2, Team Fortress 2. I mean, Team Fortress 2 was released in 2007. It's still one of the most popular FPSs that there is. I mean, it's free to play nowadays. And then as a developer, they've tried and failed with various hardware, but then they've absolutely hit the ball in the back of the net with the Steam Deck, and they've launched what I believe is the next sort of evolution of gaming, and I think that is handheld hybrid large screen.
They didn't launch it, did they? That was a Switch. You got there first.
Yeah, but the Switch nobody was copying because it was low powered, and they had the backing of Nintendo's publishing. If the Switch had come out and it was brought out by Microsoft or Sony, it would have flopped. I don't think they would have stuck with it. I think that was a solely Nintendo thing. And yes, okay, there was Ioneo and WinGP, or whatever they're called, were bringing out handheld PCs for God knows how many years. And yes, the Switch did come out, what was it, 2015, 2017? I think it was 2017. So, so there was that. But PC gaming in your hand, they basically made it cool. They made it cheap. And so now everybody wants him. And unfortunately, they got in just at the right time for it to remain cheap. And I don't think it's going to be cheaper anymore. But yeah, although there will be the lower powered ROG Ally that isn't the Xbox branded one. It will be 16 gig of memory and the Zen 2. Z2. Z2A processor, I think, or APU. So anyway, there will be another one. Apparently, that's going to be $600. So I would guess £550, £550, something like that. But yeah, so my number one is going to be Valve. But yeah, if we go with just games and it's not hardware as well, I mean, I like. I like Ubisoft games. I like their open world games. I'm not going to apologise for that. They are owned by some questionable people in terms of how they treat their staff and whatnot. But yeah, and then you got probably. You see, if I go back to my younger days, then two of the people that we've interviewed, Ocean Software. Now, Ocean Software were the greatest of all time back in the 80s and late 80s, early 90s. They just couldn't put a foot wrong. I mean, they did so many games. They did have some that didn't quite hit, but all the movie franchises that they did and everything. So they would be up there too. Although they only did Daley Thompson's Decathlon 3, I think, which I think it was the first one that I played to death, and that was the original and best. So don't know actually who did that one. So yeah, so if I was going to do top three, it would probably be Valve at number one. Then possibly I will stick with Bethesda. Yeah, I'll stick with Bethesda, and then the third spot's open at the moment. We'll chat a bit more because I've realised we've forgotten somebody. Sega. Now, obviously, you picked Nintendo, so you're not going to pick Sega as number two probably because that would just be like adding oil and water. Where would you put Sega in the list?
But for me, they're more of a publisher, aren't they, than a developer?
I mean, you had Sonic Team, and as I said, like recently,
because all the games, because you like a Dragon, don't you? The Yakuza,
yes.
But they're not developed by Sega; they're published by Sega, aren't they?
Yeah, that's I can't remember the name of the team that does it. Yeah, it's
I was thinking of Sega, and I was thinking, and how many of they actually have developed? And I couldn't be bothered to Google it while I was talking, so I was like, I'm not gonna. But if we're talking about, I mean,
Ryu Gagotoku Studio, it's like a dragon.
Rolls off the tongue, so,
exactly.
I see why you couldn't remember it, but I mean, if Sonic, I mean, I'm a big fan of Sonic games, so but is that developed and published by Sega? I mean,
I'm just having a look at which ones were developed by Sega. Now, some of them Sega were like like secondary developers. So in other words, they probably didn't.
Yeah,
They actually developed a few that were with Activision in the 80s. Oh, there you go. There you go. So yeah, I mean the list is humongous. But if we go to ones that were apparently developed by Sega, then big ones. Yeah, I'm trying to find big ones. Champion Soccer. Doki Penguin Land. That that famous one. Oh, of course. Yeah, here we go. Hang on 2. So if you like a bit of motorbike racing, Astro Warrior, Alex Kidd, Fantasy Zone, Shinobi.
Yep.
Space Harrier, Afterburner. Oh yeah, they were good. Enduro Racer, Missile Defense 3D. Never heard of it. Fantasy Star, of course. If you like RPGs, they're up there in alongside, your Ultima and Final Fantasy, but never quite hit the same heights. Altered Beast.
Yeah.
Super Hang-On, obviously. Loads of Alex Kidd, Old Beast, Golden Axe.
Yeah.
So most of the ones that were on the Mega Drive, the big ones on the Mega Drive, Columns and such like. Just trying to go a bit further forward to see if after the Genesis and Master System, because mostly, World of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse.
It's Crazy Taxi.
Donald Duck. Oh, actually, I'll have a look. Control F, Taxi. It's a Crazy Taxi, Catch a Ride on Game Boy Advance. Yes, Crazy Taxi, Sega Hitmaster on the Dreamcast. Of course, another big one for arcade as well. Daytona.
Yeah.
Such a good game. Virtua Tennis.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but probably best tennis games there is, personally.
I like Topspin. Do you ever play Topspin?
Topspin was all right. I'd probably put second place, though. I'd probably, after Virtua Tennis, I'd probably put Mario Tennis. It's a bit of fun. And then all the Yakuza games, or like a Dragon games. Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah, I like Super Monkey Ball. I thought
Yeah.
that was Nintendo, but then it was a bit. There was some when it got to that period where Sega was pretty much just.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm looking at a later Super Monkey Ball, Banana Mania 2021. So recently it's mostly been the Yakuza games, pretty much for the last sort of 6-7 years. But yeah, I mean, there's so many good games that they've either developed themselves or.
They're definitely an honourable mention for me. They won't be in my top 3. My top, I'm thinking of.
Choo-choo Rocket.
I think Nintendo, Rockstar, and Rare at the moment are my top 3. So Bethesda have been.
You see, Rockstar. I mean, they'd be a contender for. See, I'm so. My top 2 I've got, but then my third one is so many. I'm just looking at Sega's games. Ubisoft, Rockstar, and Rockstar are absolute giants of making an absolutely amazing game. BioWare, the fact is BioWare would be up there in the top 2 possibly, but in the last sort of 6-7 years, they've just gone off the boil a bit. I think for a lot of people, Blizzard will probably be up there as well, because you've got World of Warcraft, all the Warcraft games, and Diablo. I don't think any of us on this podcast would probably put them in the top 3, but I mean, they should have an honourable mention for being a good one. But again, a lot of people didn't like Diablo 4, including me, because it was so grey. Just And id Software, which of course are now owned by Microsoft, Doom and all the other Doom likes, your Wolfenstein, your Quakes, all these kind of things. They're just amazing developers who recently I think actually with the original Doom and with the more recent one, it's their technological ability, I think, that is brilliant. They make the modern Dooms look absolutely fantastic, but they'll run on a potato. They run fast. They look good, and you don't have to have the really high powered PC to do it. So anyway, right. So finalise. I'll pick a number 3. Right. I'm going to go for. So what does it do? Valve, Bethesda, because you've got your Skyrim and everything. Let's go Rockstar. I'm going to go with Rockstar. Yeah, Rockstar, because I have put a lot of hours into GTA 5. I mean, I think GTA 5 single player and online. I haven't played it recently. I haven't probably played it for about 2 years, but I probably still put in about 700 hours into it, which is quite a lot. That's back before I had children.
I just know we're going to come off and we're going to think there'll be loads we haven't.
Yeah, I mean, if you go by individual games, you got Square Enix. I love IO Interactive because of Hitman.
We had to mention Konami, and they did
Resident Evil,
Street Fighters, Devil May Cry.
Capcom, who got Resident Evil. Capcom are, absolutely amazing. But
Capcom. Oh, sorry, that's who I meant, not Konami. Capcom.
No, Konami are fantastic.
But then I was
ones as well.
Capcom games when I was Resident Evil and Street Fighter and I can't remember what else I said, but
but no, Capcom and Konami. Obviously, we've got a Metal Gear Solid and are owned by Konami, even though they are Hideo Kojima, and they had a bit of a falling out with him. But they are still Konami games, whether or not he likes that.
I feel, a lot of mine have been done on nostalgia because I'm gone Rare and Nintendo, especially because I'm gone on my childhood. But
Nintendo are also your modern day.
Super
Mario Brothers Wonder.
Nostalgia, but that's probably because I've been playing some Rare replay. So maybe if you asked me last week when I hadn't played Rare, but I'm kind of like that.
All right. Anyway, we've been talking for well over an hour on that. So, like and subscribe. Go to www.focusongaming.co.uk for all of our episodes and listen to bite sizes. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, and on that note, from me and from Tom, not Tom, because Tom's dead, don't forget, and from Martin. Bye.
Bye.